Hey, what's up guys, TechTine here, and this is the brand new 2026 Moto G Play. And I was looking back at my videos and I realized that the last time I made a video about the Moto G Play was back in 2023. So I skipped a generation and really wasn't interested. But they changed some things. However, this is essentially as basic as you can get in a smartphone. Let's have a quick conversation, and I've only used this for a couple of hours, so I can't judge it too harshly. First of all, from a design perspective, this phone does follow the footprint of other Motorola devices using this vegan leather material that feels really nice in the hand, feels a little bit more premium than you would expect on a phone that is going to be around 169. Now, the back also has a dual camera setup, which we will talk about later on. You have your LED flash. So on the right hand side, you have your power button that doubles as a fingerprint, your volume up and down. And so on the bottom of the device, you still get a headphone jack. So that's, I guess, a plus. You get a microphone, your USB-C that is capable of charging your phone at 18 watt. So not super fast, but fast enough for a lot of people. You also get your bottom facing speaker as well. Now, the borders of the phone are made entirely out of plastic, but that's kind of understandable to achieve this sort of price point. And overall though, from a design perspective, doesn't seem too shabby. Now, this phone doesn't have any rating or any military spec rating. It doesn't have IP67 or IP68 or any military spec rating. However, it does provide you with this water repellent design, so it can withstand splashes, but just don't sink it or dunk it in water. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Now, overall, though, the design itself, my conclusion on it is this. It's a step up from this phone's previous generation, but it still is a familiar device. And actually, I tested it out. So the 2025 Moto G case will fit on the 2026 Moto G Play. So you know where they got that design inspiration from. I do want to switch to the display itself, which is kind of disappointing, but you get a 720p panel. So it's a 1604 by 720p HD plus at 263 ppi. And the bezels on it are a little bit on the larger side. This phone also supports 120 hertz. Here's what I don't understand. I would rather sacrifice the high refresh rate, especially for a phone at this price point, and get a higher resolution. So instead of having a 720p, I'd much rather have a 1080p panel. Now, it's an IPS panel, and to be honest with you, it's not the best quality IPS panel. Put the resolution to the side a little bit. This panel does bleed a little bit, so it's not really the greatest. But from a sharpness perspective, like I said, it's just a 720p panel. It's nothing too crazy or nothing too hype. And the bezels on this device are a little bit on the larger side, so it's an 84% screen to body ratio. The display could use some work. That's all I'm going to say for that. Now I want to switch the conversation and speak a little bit on the camera. Now, like I said, I've only spent a few hours with this phone, so I can't definitively give you guys a conclusion on the camera. But here's the camera specs. So you get a 32 megapixel sensor, f2.2 aperture. It doesn't support any optical image stabilization, but again, understandable. You also get an 8 megapixel front facing camera, and you get another sensor that acts as your kind of macro sensor. That's kind of useless. But the positives are the fact that you can take pictures fairly quickly on this device, but the picture quality so far has not been that impressive. I will be doing a follow-up video where I would properly put this phone through its paces and give you guys a more definitive conclusion. Now, from a performance perspective, it's another area where this phone kind of disappoints. And remember how I said this is as basic of a phone as it gets? Really, that's really what it is. So you get your MediaTek Dimensity 6300, which is sort of a lower end processor. You only get 4 gigabytes of RAM that is expandable to up to 12 gigs of RAM with RAM boost, but mind you, you only get 64 gigabyte of storage. And RAM boost actually uses the storage to boost your memory. So is that disappointing? Yes. However, I would say this, the battery life on this phone is actually really good. So you get a 5200 milliamp hour battery, which is nice, and it lasts longer than the Moto G 5G. Now, keep in mind that the charging speed on this phone is also not the fastest, so it's only not the fastest, so it only maxes out at 18 watts. So my conclusion on this device so far with the couple hours that I've spent with it is as follows. It's confusing. because I can't really tell you who this phone is going to be meant for. However, like I said, this is as basic of a phone as you can get. With that being said, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the 2026 Moto G Play in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about this device. Is it as confusing to you as it is to me? Let me know. Leave a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. More videos coming up on this device, and also the 2026 Moto G is right around the corner. I have a lot of things to say about that device as well. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching.